What's up? How you doing? Here we are, beautiful night tonight. 80 degrees right now. It's very warm out. Fresh water, delicious. So I have something called Larceny. Take a look at that. So Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. Established 1870, small batch, 92 proof. Just I'm gonna have a little bit. Drink responsibly. Do not drink and drive. Do not abuse this. It'll ruin your life. A little bit is good. That's it. Just a small amount. You don't want to wake up the next day sleeping on a park bench or with radiation sickness. Just a little bit. A little bit is much better than a lot. So we're going to try it out. I've never had this, first time. We're going to open it up. Not bad. Small batch. So I'm going to pour a little bit. Larceny. So nice color. Very good. The guy on the internet, Richard, what's his name, Patterson, he does one of these things. Hello, how are you? How you doing? Something like that. And he says that that's the way you introduce yourself. It's like introducing yourself to a woman, he says. So we try that. Good color. Now we give it a try. Not bad. Not bad. Pretty good. Yeah, that's a good one. So you want to take a little bit, make it go around your mouth, tongue, swallow it, take a breath, breathe out, and you get the full effect of the flavor. But you want to drink it slow. This is not doing shots, you know, this is not college time. You know how they do that in college? Go there and doing shots. A little bit. It's got a good fragrance there. Smooth. Surprisingly smooth for a 92 proof. Kentucky. So some guy named John Fitzgerald created this. It says John Fitzgerald's weakness was fine bourbon. Nice bottle. You know, hard liquor companies have the best bottles. Established 1870. It's a long time ago. Yeah, very smooth. It's got a, I don't know what that is, an extra little flavor at the end. I can't really explain what it is because I'm not experienced with this stuff. I have very little experience. but other people will take a little taste of it and tell you exactly what's in there, and I can't do that yet. I may never be able to do that. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. So what happened today? Today was a hot day. Hot day, but not crazy hot. Like if I was in, I don't know, North Carolina, South Carolina, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Maine, Vermont, New York, Florida, I would be crazy hot because of the humidity there. Humidity amplifies the feeling of heat. Where here, it's very dry. It doesn't have that feeling like you're having a hard time breathing. We don't have that. We have dry air here, and we don't really feel the heat as much. Even if it's in a, you know, like the high 90s or something, you don't really feel it. Yeah, I recommend this stuff. If you guys want to try a decent whiskey, bourbon whiskey, this thing called Larceny. Now, I've read about this in a couple of magazines. They gave it raving reviews, but I couldn't find it. But today I found it, and there was one of 2 bottles left. All of them sold out. There was this one and another one, and I grabbed this one, but very hard to find. But yeah, it's good quality. You breathe in, and it accentuates the flavor. But like I said, a little bit. If you have too much, you don't feel the flavor. You don't know what's going on. You don't know which way is up or down. You can't find your room. You know, so you don't want to get involved with that stuff. Got the glasses here. I'm a big fan of the slingshot. I have a bunch of them now, and for a while, you know, when I was younger, I had a regular slingshot, but we went to my father's friend, who I considered my friend as well, but he was a lot older. He went to this welder that was friends with my father. Everybody knew this guy. My father would go over there a lot and hang out, and he welded for him a slingshot. Took like a U-shaped metal, I think like a rebar, and then he welded it to another rebar straight, and then he cut them so they were the right length, and then they rubberized it so your hand could have a nice soft grip. And then they went and I don't know where they got the bands from. They might have made them. You know, if you get a tire inner tube, you can make them off of that. And he would shoot them once in a while, but 94% of the time I had them. He'd say I'd take him going. We would go up to Maine, and I would go in the woods and I'd shoot trees. Boom, 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 you know. And back then, you know, I didn't have the perfect spheres. I had these rocks that would curve depending on the shape. So, and I used that for quite a while. And then one time I was down the Cape, and this kid's family had rented one of the cottages diagonally across from us. And cool kid, he had a BMX, a black one. He would let me ride it. Kind of like a bit of a hippie, had blonde hair and kind of long, and maybe he was a year older than me back then. But he had a wrist rocket, you know, one of those slingshots that kind of go onto your forearm here, so it doesn't bend backwards. You get a lot more leverage. And for years and years, I was using those instead of the regular slingshot. But as experience came to me, I realized that it's more accurate to shoot with the regular slingshots than it is to shoot with that one, with the wrist rocket. And the other thing is the flat bands are far more reliable in hitting your target than the tube ones. So I went back to using the regular slingshot, and that's what I've been using now for a long time. But always been a fan of the slingshot ever since I was about that big. But he had a good one. My father would make them out of wood. He would get like hardwood, oak, and he would use a jigsaw and cut it out, and then he would use a file to smooth down the corners. And then he would use bands. One time we actually went to a tire place. My father had a friend who owned a tire shop, and one time we went in there, and my father said, "Do you have any old inner tubes?" And he goes, "Yeah, over there." And my father took a razor blade and cut out long, three long pieces of the rubber, and then we went shooting with the slingshot. Yeah, it's one of my things. Love the slingshot. Yeah, I am blown away of how smooth that is. A lot of times you get whiskey, bourbon, and not that smooth. That water tastes so good. Today I saw somebody on a monkey, Honda, little motorcycle things, and I'm this close to wanting to get one. I've always wanted go-kart #1, but a close second was a mini bike. Because I was very independent early on in life, you know, very independent. I was not really, you know, at all any kind of person that would hang around with the parents, you know, like wherever they went I would go. I wanted to do my own thing. I'd go with them too, but not like other kids. And then when I played, yeah, I wasn't like, you know, Mom, I'm gonna be over there, I'm gonna be over there, just so you know. I would just take off and go. I'm like, don't even ask me where I'm going. So I was always like that, and to me a mini bike or a go-kart was independence ×4. You know, I always wanted to have that little that mini bike. I had a bike, and I would always imagine it as a mini bike, but I always wanted a, you know, mini bike you can get into tighter spots than a go-kart, but the go-kart was always just a bit higher than a mini bike. But now I'm looking today. I was at Starbucks, and one of those monkeys came next to me, and I was looking at it, and I said, I need to get that. I need to get that Honda. And Honda, you know, pretty reliable. They make decent products, Honda, Toyota, but Honda is known for reliability. And the bonus of that is that it fits in the back of the truck here. So I don't have to get any special, what do they call those? Not ramps, trailers. That's what I'm thinking of. I don't have to get anything like that. So yeah, did I mention it's hot? It's not hot, it's warm, but not humid, right? A few stars are out, not many. I mean, we have light pollution in the city, meaning light, like fluorescent, you know, that, and you don't really see them in the city. You have to go in the desert. Like, I was down at Barango Springs a couple of years ago, and I went out at night in the front there where we were renting a cottage, and it was like thousands of stars, one on top of the other. And when you think about it, that, you know, star that's next to the other star looks like it's about a millimeter away. That could literally be, you know, 150 light years. And we know around 4 light years is the closest star to us, Alpha Centauri. And if you break that down to travel with a rocket, like if the space shuttle took off and went that way right now, it would take like 75,000 to 100,000 years round the clock traveling. No stopping, no rest stop, no bathroom break, just continuous motion. It would take 75 to 100,000 years to get to the next star, and that's only 4.2 light years away. So you can imagine something that's 100 light years or 1,000 light years, or, you know, 50,000 light years from here. multiply that, it's just a ridiculous distance. Yeah. Then I get started on this topic, and you know, my mind goes into circles. But I'm just fascinated with the existence of anything. As they say, why is there something rather than nothing? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Don't start with the folklore. Sit here and you wonder, what is the universe being held inside of? And I don't want to hear from any scientist explaining the nonsense by saying that it's not held inside of anything, it's creating the space as it goes. No, that's just like, you know, ridiculous sounding. Don't even go there. You hear that? Mama's boy is going home to the basement. Get a little kiss on the cheek from Mama. Anyway, yeah, I always think about that. When I was younger, I would think about that a lot. Like, imagine if there was nothing, and I couldn't. It was like, it's like a weird thing. My mind gets into a trap when it gets to thinking about nothingness. Imagine if there was nothing. How could there be nothing? If there was nothing, there would be empty space. But if there was an empty space, what would there be? I mean, it's just it's easier to imagine something rather than nothing. And a lot of people, when they think nothing, they think of like emptiness. So you'll still have the empty space, just nothing in it. I'm talking about nothingness including no empty space. And then what are you left with? Nothing, right? Yeah, not bad. But yeah, the universe has always been a fascinating thing for me. Some people, they don't even think about it. You know, I'll have conversations with people and they go, all right, I don't even think about that. You know, they don't get into that that thought about what if there was nothing? What would be there? Nothing. But nothing only makes sense to us if there's empty space. You know, like if I drank all of this, there would be nothing, but the bottle would be here with nothing inside. And I can get rid of the bottle, but this would still be here. But if you get rid of all of this, including the empty space that occupies the universe, kind of like that, what would you be left with? And you can't even think about it. Can't think about it. It gets too ridiculous. I mean, you remove empty space, what are you left with? And the nothingness that's there, what is that? Yeah, it's always interesting. I'll look at videos on YouTube, and they'll discuss distances, and they'll zoom out. You know, obviously it's animated. It's, you know, made by humans. It's not like they had a video camera out there and it shot the whole reverse process of the universe. But you know, you look at the Earth and you have to zoom way out. You get to the moon, you zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. You get the Mars going there, and then you keep going and going. You'll hit Jupiter. Get the asteroid belt in between there. And it's just empty out there, even though there are trillions of stars and quadrillions of stars in the universe, but the space in between them, it might as well be empty. That's how much space is there. I go to the Griffith Observatory every once in a while, and on the ground they have to scale the solar system. So you'll get in the center, you'll have the sun, and you'll go many footsteps out and you hit Mercury, and then you go way down the line and you'll hit what is it, Venus there, and then you'll get to Earth, all right, and then you'll get to Mars, and then you go, okay, that's quite a few steps. But then when you start looking at you know, Saturn, and you start looking at Jupiter and Uranus and Neptune and Pluto and all that, you see the circle, the rotation, the orbit getting bigger and bigger and bigger and further out. And you think about it, you go, wow, that's crazy. And that's just a tiny little segment of the solar system, I mean the galaxy. In reality, it would be very impressive if the universe was just our galaxy. But it's not. It keeps going and going, and every time they put a more sophisticated telescope out into space, you had Hubble, now you have Webb, the universe seems to get bigger because you could see more detail, you see more galaxies, and it's just mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing that there is such a thing as the universe. And it would be really creepy. You'd be nowhere to think about it, but it would be really creepy if no reality of any kind existed anywhere. There was nothing, not even empty space. I'm fascinated that we exist. Out of all the planets that they've looked at, we're the only one with life. And I'm sure it's just a matter of belief, but I am based on my thinking and the logic of how big the universe is, there's got to be other life forms out there in different stages of development. So far, crickets. You know, I mean, I can imagine back in the 50s and 60s when they were dreaming about SETI, you know, coming into being, they probably thought once they had these massive radio antennas out into space, you know, receiving signals, that it was busy with life. They probably thought, you turn it on right now, you're going to hear all kind of talking and all kind of signals going back and forth. And we did that, and we haven't heard anything at all from the 60s till now, nothing. And even that wow, the wow signal, I'm not impressed by that at all. You know, instead of wow, they should have written big deal, circle that. Not a big deal, really. You know, what they hear? They heard like a beep thing. So what, that could have been a quasar. And they've been aiming it there every so often. They haven't heard that again. So obviously it wasn't intelligent life. And why would the intelligent life only do a beep? If it was intelligent life, like, we don't send beeps out there. We have Leave It to Beaver out there. We have Mary Tyler Moore show. We have Lawrence Welk out there. Donnie and Marie show. The $6 Million Man is out there. So if there was an intelligent life within, you know, 50 years of us, they'd be watching nice television now. They're like, check out this show. It comes on once a week. Guy's bionic. But, you know, and I'll tell you, I understand the filter. I understand all that. And I understand the vast distances that exist, LAPD. What they're doing up so late. You know, but you would think that some intelligent life form out there was able to push out a signal, you know, whatever, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 years ago, that is now reaching us. And we hear nothing. You know, I'm thinking, why are we even being that, you know, arrogant? I mean, why would we even be able to pick up a signal that old? Doesn't it deteriorate over time? I mean, you know, if something is like 50,000 light years from us, and let's say we're, you know, we're able to receive a signal because they sent it 60,000 years ago, so all their signals should be here by now. But at 50,000 light years from Earth, how much of that signal remains intact? Doesn't it diminish every second? Gets weaker and weaker. Why would it continue to go without diminishing at all, or diminishing only to the point where we could still pick it up? That's the thing that I think about all the time. Maybe there are intelligent life forms out there. Maybe they are broadcasting. But after a certain point, the signal dies out. and it diminishes where you can't even pick it up anymore. I mean, we have something that we know exactly where it is. Voyager 1, Voyager 2. We know exactly where they are. And every so often we have to build bigger and bigger radio receivers, radio antennas, in order to pick up the little signal being sent by this spacecraft that we sent out in 1977, 76. So, and that's in our backyard. I don't think that that's even a light day away. Sorry. It's not even a light day away. And we have to keep building bigger and bigger radio antennas to get the signal. Now imagine something not 1 light day away, but 2,000 light years away, 5,000 light years away. What kind of an antenna would we need to pick up the signal that's coming from that distance if we have to have big antennas to pick up the signal from the Voyager spacecraft? You know, maybe signals diminish. Or maybe the galaxy spiral has the kind of like the finger sticking out like that. We're out here somewhere. We're out here in one of the fingers. Not the middle finger, but one of the fingers. We're out here. And that's a relatively quiet part of the galaxy. Not that much action takes place there. So how do we know that we're not the only ones in this section, and all the other intelligent life forms are way on the other side of the galaxy and the other finger? So we're separated by almost 100,000 light years, which would mean that even if they sent their signals 99,000 years ago, we still have to wait 1,000 years to receive them. And so listening to the universe or the galaxy right now, you would think no one was there, but we just haven't received the signals yet. I am telling you, I am fascinated. If there was ever an alien life form that came down to the desert where I was hanging out, and they said, you know, come here, I would go. I would go with them, because I'm very curious, and I hope they have answers. First thing I would say is, what is this universe inside of? What's beyond the universe? And I'm going to tell you right now, do not tell me infinity. Don't tell me that, because that sounds ridiculous. If you believe in a beginning, right, then infinity makes no sense. Now, if you don't believe in a beginning and you say the universe has always existed in some form, I'll respect that more. And my theory is maybe the universe always existed and it just goes through a cycle. Get away, fly. McFly, Back to the Future. Anyway, so say the universe that we see, this is the observable, this is our universe, but maybe that is just a drop in the ocean compared to what exists. So while this one is active, another part is dying out, collapsing into itself, recycling itself, and goes dormant, lights out there. Another part of the universe has a brand new explosion or whatever, got a brand new universe forming there, starts to expand, but they never touch, kind of like a multi-universe theory. That would make sense to me if the universe always existed, never had a beginning, matter always existed, it just recycles. Or once it burns out, that area is considered like closed off to the public. Can't go there anymore. While another area is coming to existence. But that's the thing, coming to existence. What does that even mean? That was good. Good quality. Has a good, I'll tell you what it has. Has a good after flavor, aftertaste. Like, you taste it and then it takes about 3 or 4 seconds and you get a burst of something even better. So I recommend this. If you see it in the supermarket, at the liquor store, pet store, I don't know, grab it. But enjoy it. Don't drink it all. Drink a little bit. A little bit, and it'll last you for a long, long time. I have bottles that are like, you know, 7, 8 years old. They're only down here. Yeah, I don't really finish them. I just have, a couple, couple of little things like this, and then I put it away for the future. This is what I heard though about NASA. I heard that NASA's going to try to fund SETI again with much more money than the private donations that have been going through the last couple of decades or a few decades. And they're hoping that within the next 15-20 years they're going to pick up a signal. Everybody expects that there are signals out there from intelligent life forms, but it is disappointing that we haven't gotten anything. Very disappointing to me. I was little dreaming about a day when I would be older and finally contact. But no contact, no signal, nothing. It's as if we're alone. And that would be, to me, very disappointing. But you know what? We treat ourselves like we're separate from the universe. We are the universe. We are the universe come to life. This is the way the universe recognizes that it exists, through us. And I don't know if there's any other consciousness out there, but we are the universe, living part of the universe. That's us. We treat it like we're visitors or something from some other place. This is us. This is what the universe contains, things like us. And the more you think about it, the stranger we seem to be. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to go and take a 6-7 hour sleep, maybe a little bit longer, I don't know, it depends. And then tomorrow is a brand new day. Tomorrow's going to be hot, but that's the way it goes. Capiche? That's it for now. Ciao.